The female reproductive system is little complicated than the male reproductive system in terms of the structure, organization for making the egg and for receiving the sperm to favor the fertilization process to happen in a systematic order. Then only the zygote formation happens in a proper way for becoming a embryo in a uterus, right? So one by one we'll discuss in detail about the human reproductive system exclusively with a female reproductive point, right? So now if you're talking about uh, the female reproductive system as external genitalia, also called as vagina. The external genitalia also called as vagina, okay, and two ovaries and then accessory duct. These are all the various point of the female reproductive system. The primary reproductive organ, ovary, as we already told for the male reproductive system, okay, the gonad should be O, G-O-N-A-D, gonad, okay. So G-O-N-A-D, gonad is a male reproductive organ. This male reproductive organ or gonad is very, very important for making the sperm cells. In the same way, the female gonad is also called as ovary, which is very, very important for making the egg. So the egg is very, very important for the zygote formation after interacting the sperm cells. After interacting the sperm cells, right? So if you're talking about the estrogen hormone and progesterone hormone are mainly responsible for the various type of egg production, right? In the sense, here the egg, sometimes the egg quality is very good, sometimes the egg quality is very bad, sometimes the egg is produced in a dead way, okay, dead eggs are formed, alive eggs are formed. So all this probability is because of the different quality and quantity of the progesterone and estrogen. So if these hormones deviates, the egg production will be deviated, right? So we need to understand basically the female gamete or egg, which is formed by the ovary, right? So ovary size is 2 to 4 centimeter in the length. Okay, this is the length of the ovary, right? If we're talking about the where it is exactly present at the base of the abdomen, exactly only in the female body. There, this ovary are two in number, but not one in number. Okay, here you know very well the ovary is attached to the body by ligaments. Is a type of cartilaginous cell. So, what type of cartilage tissue is existing between the uterus and the pelvic wall? Okay, or the ovary is getting attached to the uterus. Sometimes they will say ovary is attached to the pelvic wall. You should be highly competent enough to say the ligament tissue is responsible for the ovary attachment to the uterus and then to the pelvic wall, right? We know very well the epithelium is nothing but epithelia. Okay, epithelia. Instead of using the word saying epithelia is plural, epithelium is singular. Yes, a thin epithelium means a single epithelial layer, a single epithelial layer or epithelium that is surrounding the ovary stroma. Ovary stroma means what? The entire segment of the ovary is called a stroma, including the inner segment and external segment. That means the external segment, which is in the periphery of the ovary, and the inner segment is there in the center of the ovary. Can you see this? This inner segment basically is the stroma. Wherever I'm pinpointing, can you see this place here? So the inner segment is exactly the denotes the stroma. The outer segment, including the layers, are completely covered by which particular structure? If you're looking about the stroma, okay, the stroma is having inner medulla. That means there is a thing I told you, inner medulla and outer cortex. That is okay, but you need to understand there is the all the segment of the stroma, inner stroma, external stroma, everything is covered by a thin epithelial layer. A thin epithelial layer. Okay, that is why we are calling that as a germinal epithelium. Germinal epithelium or a thin epithelial layer or a single epithelial layer surrounds the two segment of the stoma, inner stoma and external stoma. This is external stoma, this is inner stoma. So inner stoma and external stoma are completely covered by germinal epithelium. Germinal epithelium. I think so you understood this message. Now we are coming for the next segment is nothing but the ovary is having the clumps of cells. We know very well there is nothing but the graphene follicles. These graphene follicles are ovarian follicles. Okay. Uh, Denoting the group of cells of the ovary. Group of cells of the ovary we are calling as ovarian follicles or graphene follicles. So ovum or egg is carried to the center of the follicles. So ovum is singular. Okay, to the center of the egg. Like this, we are not saying to the center of the follicles, the egg is carried out. Ovum is singular. Single egg is also called as ovum that is taken to the each follicle center segment. Like this, we are saying this follicles, we are saying exclusively as a graphene follicles or ovarian follicles. Like this, we are saying these follicles are not formed in one stitch, not formed in one go, not formed in one go. Can you observe carefully in this entire picture? The primary follicles are formed by the mother follicles, which is nothing but primordial follicles. These primary follicles are becoming what exactly? If you're looking about, it is becoming secondary follicles that they're not mentioned in the diagram, but because many points are not there in the CBSE textbook. So we are following the CBSE textbook. Secondary follicles. Secondary follicles are getting developed into graphene follicles. Graphene follicles, once it is getting matured, it releases the ovum. It is releasing the ovum. So the ovum is formed from the ruptured graphene follicles. Graphene follicles are formed from secondary follicles. Secondary follicles are formed from primary follicles. Primary follicles are formed by primordial follicles. Primordial follicles denotes what? Mother follicles. Primordial follicles, mother follicles, stem follicles. So many terms they are asking the different board exam. So, we are not here only for reading the PowerPoint presentation. So we need to bring all the difficulties. Okay. That difficulties will help you, the difficulty explanation will help you to get maximum marks in the board exam. As I already told you, the ovum is singular. Along the ovum, which is formed, means corpus luteum is formed. This corpus luteum is going to become slowly corpus albigum, right? Okay, in some book they written corpus albicans. Okay, in most of the CBSE textbook and associate guides, written corpus luteum. Okay, will become corpus albicans, right? Uh, Here, tunica albuginea is the outermost layer. Don't get confused. Don't write. I not told corpus albicans and tunica albuginea both are same. Be very careful. Corpus luteum slowly becomes corpus albicans after giving lot of nutrients. After giving lot of nutrients for the entire ovarian cycle, right? So be very careful with all these things. Okay. So some people will say this albican is formed before this corpus luteum. No, right? Can you see this? This is the corpus albicans, which is white in color, whereas if you're talking about corpus luteum is yellow in color. So the yellow color corpus luteum is becoming corpus albicans, right? So now we are entering into the next important segment, accessory duct. If we're talking about the accessory duct, okay, we know very well about the cervix. Cervix also called as birth canal. Okay, multiple terminology importance. I already told you n number of time. Sometimes they will say cervix. Sometimes they will say what exactly birth canal. Sometimes they will say vaginal orifice. This vaginal orifice um, is getting what now? Is getting where exactly? Cervical orifice. Cervical orifice or vaginal orifice. The word together is the part of the birth canal or the part of the birth canal. So we should be very careful in narrating all this information. You know very well the vagina is the external segment, a place where the sperm injection will be given at the vagina area, and two oviduct or fallopian tube is having the measurement of about 10 to 12 centimeter long, and it is divided into which how many segments means isthmus, infundibulum, and ampullae. So here the first segment of the fallopian tube um, is called what? Infundibulum. The funnel shaped structure of the starting point of the fallopian tube is nothing but infundibulum. Funnel shaped structure, the starting point of the fallopian tube denotes infundibulum next to the ovary, whereas the extensions which are arising as a cluster from the infundibulum is nothing but fimbriae. Fimbriae denotes the extensions arising from the infundibulum. So ampullae is a place, ampullae isthmus junction. This ampullae and isthmus place both are present next to the infundibulum, a place where the fertilization happens. So fertilization happens exactly in the ampullae isthmus junction. In ampullae isthmus junction. Again, back I'm repeating. In the ampullae isthmus junction, fertilization happens. This isthmus and ampullae is present next to infundibulum. Infundibulum having a lot of extension, there is nothing but fimbriae. There is nothing but fimbriae, right? So we need to understand ovum is getting released with the ovary. Ovum is getting released into the ovary. When this process happens in a process called oogenesis. Oogenesis is also called as egg synthesis process. So oogenesis process is also called as egg synthesis process happens not in the uterus, it happens inside the ovary. Ampullae is connected with the infundibulum because of a bend dilated portion. Bend dilated portion. Bend means you know very well. Dilated means enlarged. Okay, diameter increased. Okay, enlarged. So diameter enlarged. Okay. Um, so the infundibulum is connected to ampullae. So here the in this entire picture, you can see the next to the infundibulum, the ampullae is a place where the the ampullae is the place where fertilization happens, that we already given the box. So when I was like you, I used to keep the boxes with the letter so that I can recall the information. And then the uterus is a segment of the oviduct. Uterus is a segment of the oviduct that enters the uterus. We know very well. And this oviduct, after getting entry into uterus, okay, what it does exactly. So it gives the fertilized egg or zygote, okay, to the uterus for getting implantation, so that once the zygote is getting implanted, it is developing into new progeny. So here the length of the oviduct, okay, you know very well about 1 centimeter, okay, about 1 centimeter. I'm saying the oviduct area entering into the this one uterus, about 1 centimeter area. Like this, we already narrated for you. I think so. You all got this message. Now we are entering into the next segment. We'll have some lot of questionnaire session for getting better attention. After some time, we'll discuss some few board papers questions for better clarity and better way of practicing the board. For that to happen, you need to sit and study for many hours with us. In addition to listening the content, you need to practice many number of practice questions and board papers. So the uterus is also called as womb, like this we are saying. So the uterus is looking like an inverted pyramid shaped structure, okay, or pear shaped structure, okay. The uterus enters the vagina, okay. Uterus enters the vagina through cervix. The cervix is nothing but birth canal. I already told you n number of times, cervical canal or birth canal, okay. This cervical canal or birth canal is made up of vagina and the cervix cavity. So cervix cavity and vagina together makes the birth canal, right? So the three distinct layer that makes the uterine wall. One by one we'll discuss. This uterine wall means the layer of the uterus having three important sublayers. One is external or exterior layer, which is very thin, and we used to call that as perimetrium. and myometrium, which is nothing but middle thick layer, rich in smooth muscle, The endometrium, which is rich in glandular layer, glandular layer. So the name itself speaks about it is having a lot of glands in it. The name itself speaks about it is doing the contraction and relaxation much more. The name itself denotes it is giving the production function. For each and every sentence, hidden sentences are present. So uh, now, if you're going for the myometrium, experiences the intense contraction during the labor period. So the intense contraction during the labor period, who is doing the work? Who is the influencing factor? Mine is myometrium. I am going for contraction much more during the labor period. What do you mean about labor period? Baby is ejected out of the mother body, okay, during the pregnancy end time. That we used to call as labor period. That is not having you. This labor is not having you. Don't think this labor is swelling is wrong. Okay, this labor period is different. In this period, the baby is given out, right, from the mother. The lumen of the vagina is having a glycogen-rich mucous membrane. Okay, made up of made up of Bartholin gland. Okay. So you know very well the vagina opens between the anus and the urethra. Between the anus and the urethra, vagina opens. Okay. So in this, we need to understand the penis is lubricated by the secretion of the Bartholin gland. So basically, the lubrication, the flexibility, fluidity, everything is contributed by the secretion of the Bartholin gland, right? So uh, if you're talking about the lumen means exactly, I'll show to you. Sir, you're saying lumen or the vagina, where the lumen is present exactly. If you're looking about, um, can you see this particular point? This particular where I given the red line. This area is full of Bartholin gland secretions. Right? Having glycogen-rich mucous secretion. It is acidic in nature. So not very acidic, slightly acidic to kill the microorganism. Which is very harmful for the female body. Okay, in this condition, basically, uh, the the outermost segment of um, the outermost segment next to the vagina, we are calling as okay labia majora, labius minora, is there in the CBSE textbook. Okay, we are choosing the picture also according to the CBSE textbook circle. We are not going behind that. For example, if you're talking about the fallopian tube, also called as ovarian duct or ovarian canal, um, is the part of the CBSE, right? Whereas if you're talking about the clitoris is a very, very sensory structure. During the copulation, the sensation is taken much more by the clitoris. Okay, the maximum sensation of the clitoris makes the effective copulation to happen. So we already told you a number of times the vagina is opening between the ureter, like this I not told, between the urethra and the anus, the vagina is opening, right? So this is a major information you should supposed to know, right? So any one of you having any doubt up to this point, please let me know. So now we are coming for the next major segment, external genitalia. The picture is given very nicely for you for better understanding. Okay, this picture um, is not there in the CBSE, but still to give the clarity, we choose this picture. Okay, clitoris is a structure where the sensation is received during the copulation time. Urethral opening, a place where the urination is happening much more. And then if you're talking about the anus is a place, it is not working during the reproduction time. Okay, anus, through that the feces will be released outside. Okay, the vaginal opening we already narrated for you. Okay, the vagina is surrounded by the labia minora, which is very, very thin. Labia majora is very, very thicker. Okay, clitoris hood, like this you're saying. Why? Because it is developed like a hood. Okay, this clitoris hood receives the major sensation. Receives the major sensation during the copulation time. Okay, mons pubis is having maximum amount of hair in the female body. Uh, for example, among all this structure, I can use the urethra opening and anus opening for both male and female. The rest all completely for female. The vulva structure denotes the area next to the vagina. Next to the vagina, right? I think so. You understood this message. Now we are entering into the next important concept. Is nothing but mammary gland. Is nothing but the milk production information we are going to discuss. So we know very well the mammary gland is very, very important for the milk production to happen. That is having a specific amount of arrangement for facilitating the milk production. That is happening because of the glandular tissues of the mammary lobe inside the breast. There are so many partitions are there that we used to call as mammary lobes, which is having many number of many number of mammary gland tubules. Okay, we need to understand the alveolar cell of the mammary gland of the mammary lobe of the breast. Like this, we need to understand. Inside the breast, partitions are there. That is called mammary lobe. Inside the mammary lobe, mammary glands are present. Inside the mammary glands, the cell which is present is alveolar cell that makes milk. That makes milk. So alveoli enters the mammary tubule, right? Enters the mammary tubule. That is in the sensation. That is in the sensation. So we need to understand the lobules. Many number makes a mammary duct. Okay. So if you're seeing the picture in detail, you will understand exactly. Okay, calmly you understand. Okay, so that what the discrepancy will be broken when you are in the unclarity. Okay, so the skin around the breast is holding the adipose tissue at the backside. Why the adipose tissue is required? Rich in fat supports the fat formation of the milk. If you're talking about the milk duct is secreting the milk into the nipple for reaching the particular child. The milk pouch is also called as, here also the ampulla is there. Be very careful. So this milk pouch is also called as ampullae. The red square where I given in a dark way that denotes what ampullae, a place where the milk is getting stagnated for a while, right? If you're talking about the alveoli is a structure which is present over the alveoli is nothing but a cluster of blood capillaries which is present over the mammary gland tissues, which is supporting the milk production to happen. The connective tissue is present around the mammary gland. Okay, the muscle is present at the outer surface area of the breast, right? So for making the breast movement, for making the breast contraction, muscle support is also required, but not at the maximum level, right? Lymph node is supporting the WBC circulation for fighting against the microorganism. I think so. You understood this message. Reproductive system question solving session. As I already told you, we are discussing the previous year's papers. Okay, in this picture, the OM has given to give the appropriate labeling. Okay, this is subjective question. So we'll in this session we'll be discussing MCQs, we'll be discussing assertion reasoning questions. Okay, all the varieties of questions we'll be discussing, right? So here in this question, okay, A, B, C they given, right? So we will find out, okay, what in which way the answer should be given by you people, right? So double fertilization is a process which is happening in the different double fertilization process happening in the plant, right? Whereas the first question, human ovum, okay, pot A, B, C, zona pellucida, corona radiata, and nucleus, right? Okay, not nucleus, nucleus. Okay, these are the part A, B, and C, right? So now we'll be going for the next segment is in meiotic division completion, right? After fertilization process. So we know very well the egg and sperm are getting fused during the fertilization process. Okay. So calmly you listen to me. Sperm after touching the zona pellucida, it is becoming corona radiata. It is becoming corona radiata. So corona radiata is not formed every time. When the sperm hits the zona pellucida, this will become corona radiata. So corona radiata is formed once the sperm is getting interaction with the zona pellucida layer of the egg, then only zona corona radiata will be formed, right? So now next segment, what we need to understand is basically the how the corona radiata is organized. Okay, it is organized in a is it is organized like a bacteria flagella, bacteria cilia, right? So it will be not like this continuous layer. This type of organization we are observing in corona radiata. It won't allow other sperm to enter. Once one sperm is entered into the egg, the other sperm is not allowed to enter because of the corona radiata, right? So we need to understand the zona pellucida, okay, allows only the one sperm entry to happen, right? And then next question, if you're talking about in the same, this is either or question, right? You are having the probability to choose uh, one question, okay, or else you can choose what? The second question. The second question is, in the last class itself, we discussed sexual reproduction in flowering plants, double fertilization. We discussed in the last class, double fertilization means the fusion of the male gamete with the egg and the fusion of the which particular structure? Secondary polar nucleus with the generative cell. Like this, we discussed that denotes double fertilization, right? The seed of an orange has many embryo. Cashew nut is a false fruit, but guava is a true fruit. Why it is so like this? We already told you the parthenocarpic fruit we discussed in the last biology class that happened day before yesterday. So all of you keep your mind calm, quiet, and then understand, right? So basically, the polyembryonic stage we are using for the orange. That means many embryos are formed, and these embryos are they're getting developed into many seed, right? So we know very well in the case of not only cashew nut, not only okay here even in the apple also we are calling as false fruit. Why you are calling this as a false fruit? You know very well. The ovary wall is not becoming the fruit wall. Ovary wall is not becoming the fruit wall. Which wall is not becoming the fruit wall? Ovary wall is not becoming the fruit wall. Then who is becoming the fruit wall? Ovary wall plus thalamus is becoming the fruit wall. Okay. So if I'm making you to understand, you know very well the flower stalk which holds the flower. This flower stalk which is having the extension, we used to call this as the thalamus. So this thalamus is also there in the human brain that I am not talking about. I am talking about the thalamus structure which is the flower stalk edges. Flower stalk edges. The flower stalk edges is called thalamus. This thalamus is mainly responsible for the formation of the fruit. In the case of apple, in the case of cashew nut, the thalamus structure is becoming the fruit. That is a message we need to understand. That is the reason why it is called what? False fruit. That example we already discussed a number of time, and then we are coming for the reason for the many seed in the orange is because of the polyembryonic stage. The polyembryonic stage denotes many embryo. Many embryo is because of many ovules. Many ovules are becoming many zygote. Many zygote are becoming many embryo. Right? So this is the way we need to understand the message in detail. I think so. You understood this message. Okay. on